Have you ever sat down with a bowl of fresh blueberries, thinking, now this is good for me? You're not alone. Blueberries are everywhere these days. On top of your morning oatmeal, blended into your smoothies, maybe even baked into a muffin you enjoy with your afternoon tea. They're sweet, delicious, and praised by just about every health magazine out there. You've been told they boost memory, protect your heart, and help fight aging from the inside out. But here's something no one's really talking about. What if I told you that those same blueberries could actually be making your health worse, depending on what you're eating them with? I know it sounds crazy. But the truth is, if you're in your 60, 70, or even beyond, and you're combining blueberries with a few everyday foods, you might be unknowingly triggering problems with your digestion, your medications, or even your blood health. And it happens silently. No warning signs. No headlines. Just a slow build-up that could leave you tired, foggy, or worse, dealing with a health issue that could have been avoided with one small change. You see, as we get older, our bodies start responding differently to the foods we eat. It's not about fear, it's about awareness. And if you've ever noticed that something you ate just didn't sit right, or that you're more sensitive than you used to be, you're not imagining it. That's your body talking to you. Today, we're going to talk about 3 common foods that should never be eaten with blueberries, especially if you're a senior. Foods that seem harmless on their own, but when paired with blueberries, they can throw your body off balance. And the third one? Almost no one talks about it, but it's the one that affects the most seniors, especially if you're on certain medications or supplements. So, before you take another bite of that healthy berry bowl, you're going to want to hear this. Comment, I love blueberries, if you've been enjoying them regularly. Let's see how many of us might have been combining them the wrong way without even knowing. And if you care about keeping your body strong, sharp, and well-informed as you age, subscribe to Elderly Wisdom Guide. Because here, we don't just share tips. We protect your health with knowledge that matters. Let's get into it. Let's talk about Margaret. She's 72. Active, sharp-minded, and proud of sticking to what she calls her morning power routine. Every day, like clockwork, she wakes up, takes her iron supplement, fixes a breakfast of liver and greens, and washes it all down with a thick blueberry smoothie. Sounds healthy, right? For months, she kept it up, until she began feeling different. Her energy dipped. She started bruising more easily. Her skin looked pale. And she often felt dizzy just walking across the room. At first, she thought, maybe it's just aging. But when her blood tests came back, her doctor was puzzled. Margaret, who was taking iron daily, was showing signs of iron deficiency anemia. How? Well, here's the thing, blueberries, as wonderful as they are packed with polyphenol. Now, polyphenol are antioxidant compounds, which sound great on paper, and often, they are. But when you eat them at the wrong time or with the wrong food, they can interfere with how your body absorbs key nutrients. One of the biggest victims? Iron. And I'm not talking about the iron from red meat, though it can still be affected. I'm talking mostly about non-heme iron, the kind found in plants and supplements. That's the kind seniors are most likely taking in pill form, or trying to increase through greens and grains. The polyphenol in blueberries can bind to that iron and block its absorption in your gut. It doesn't even get a chance to enter your bloodstream. So even if you're taking the right supplement, or eating liver, or adding spinach to your plate, it might be going to waste, because your smoothie is stealing the spotlight. Now here's the real issue. Most seniors don't connect the dots. They think, I'm eating healthy, what more can I do? But what we often miss is timing. Not every healthy food belongs on the same plate. It's a common misconception that if something is good for you, it must be good with everything else. But food isn't just food, it's chemistry. And for seniors, especially those at risk for anemia, or already dealing with low iron, this can become a hidden problem. One that creeps up gradually, draining your energy, weakening your immune system, and even affecting your mental clarity. But don't worry, this isn't about giving up blueberries. It's about being smarter with how you enjoy them. Here's what you can do. First, don't eat blueberries or drink blueberry juice at the same time as your iron supplements or iron-rich meals. Give your body a buffer, at least 2 hours between them. Want to boost your iron instead? Take it with a source of vitamin C, like a little orange or bell pepper. That helps iron absorb better. Save your blueberries for a mid-morning or afternoon snack, when your stomach isn't busy trying to process iron. It's a small shift, but it could make a world of difference. And if you've been feeling more tired than usual, or your iron levels just won't budge, this tiny change might be the key. But iron isn't the only nutrient that blueberries clash with. There's another food that's a staple for many older adults, especially in the morning. It tastes great, pairs perfectly with berries. And yet, it could be quietly working against your digestion and nutrient intake. Let me tell you about Robert. He's 68, retired, and has always been a fan of starting his day the healthy way. Every morning, he'd open the fridge, grab a cup of blueberry yogurt, maybe toss in some granola, and sit on the porch with a spoon and a quiet sunrise. He believed it was the perfect breakfast, tasty, light, and full of nutrients. But over time, he started to notice something odd. After breakfast, he'd feel bloated. Sometimes a little gassy. Other times just uncomfortable. At first, he brushed it off. Maybe it's age, he thought. Maybe my stomach's just getting more sensitive. But that bloated feeling kept showing up, and his digestion never quite felt right. Now here's what Robert, and many others, didn't know. When you mix blueberries with dairy, especially cow's milk or regular yogurt, you might be canceling out the very nutrients you're trying to absorb. You see, blueberries are rich in polyphenol, the antioxidants that help fight inflammation, improve heart health, and protect your brain as you age. But dairy products, especially those containing casein, a milk protein, can bind to those polyphenol in your gut and block their absorption. In simpler terms, your body might not be getting the full benefit from the blueberries when they're smothered in milk or dairy yogurt. Now, does that mean fruit and dairy are always bad together? Not exactly. But here's where it gets tricky. Your body changes as you age. Your gut becomes more sensitive. Your enzyme levels decline. And your digestive system starts to struggle with food combinations that didn't bother you when you were younger. For seniors especially, bloating, gas, and irregular digestion aren't just minor annoyances. They can affect appetite, nutrient absorption, and even how medications are processed in your system. And when something like blueberry yogurt becomes a daily habit, these small effects can build up over time, slowly chipping away at how well your body performs. The biggest misconception? That healthy foods always work well together. It's easy to assume that if one thing is good for you, combining it with another healthy option makes it even better. But our bodies are complex. And sometimes, it's not about what you're eating, it's about when and how you're eating it. So, what can you do? The good news is, you don't have to give up anything. You just have to be a little smarter about your timing. Here's what I suggest. If you love blueberries, enjoy them on their own, maybe mid-morning or as a snack later in the day. If yogurt is your go-to breakfast, consider switching to a plant-based yogurt, like almond, oat, or coconut. These don't contain casein, and they're often gentler on the stomach. And if you do choose dairy, try spacing it out from your blueberry intake. Give your body a couple of hours to process each one separately. It's a simple adjustment, but it allows you to keep enjoying the foods you love, without losing their benefits or upsetting your digestion. And if you're like Robert, and you've been feeling a little off after what you thought was a healthy breakfast, this could be the quiet culprit. Now, the next one? It's not a food at all. It's something many seniors take every single day, often first thing in the morning. Sometimes even with blueberries. But when mixed together, it can do far more harm than good. And for some people, it could even become dangerous. Let me tell you about Joanne. She's 75, gentle, wise, and always glowing with that kind of calm that comes from a life well lived. A few months ago, she had a mild stroke. Scary, yes, but she was lucky. Her doctors got to it in time, and they prescribed her a blood-thinning medication to prevent any future clots. Determined to support her health even more, Joanne did what many people do after a health scare: she leaned into nutrition. She added flax seeds, dark leafy greens, and her favorite, big, beautiful bowls of blueberries. Every single day. She believed it was helping. And honestly, it should have. But then something strange began happening. She started bruising. Not just little marks here and there, big, purple blotches that would appear with the slightest bump. Sometimes she'd wake up with them and couldn't even remember what caused them. Her arms looked like she'd been in a fight, and she hadn't. Her doctor ran tests, adjusted her medication, and then asked her a question she didn't expect: "Have you been eating a lot of blueberries lately?" She was stunned. Because here's what most people don't know. Blueberries, especially when eaten in large amounts, can actually intensify the effect of blood-thinning medications. How? They contain salicylates, natural compounds found in many plants. These salicylates act a lot like aspirin, thinning the blood and making it flow a little more freely. Now imagine combining that with prescription blood thinners like warfarin, or even over-the-counter ones like aspirin or Plavix. The effect can become too much. Your blood becomes overly thin. Small cuts take longer to heal. You bruise easily. And in some cases, internal bleeding becomes a real and dangerous possibility. Here's the thing. Most people think the only food they need to watch on blood thinners is leafy greens, because of the vitamin K. That's the common advice, right? But berries, especially blueberries, don't get nearly as much attention. And yet, they can cause just as much trouble if not managed properly. The worst part? Because blueberries are considered a safe superfood, they're rarely brought up in medication reviews. So people just go on eating them, sometimes even more, without realizing the silent risk building in the background. But this doesn't mean you have to stop eating blueberries altogether. Here's what you can do instead: talk to your doctor or pharmacist. Let them know how often you eat blueberries, especially if you're taking blood-thinning medication or supplements like fish oil, garlic capsules, or ginkgo biloba. These also thin the blood and can compound the effects. Don't make drastic changes to your diet overnight. Sudden increases or decreases in foods that affect your blood can mess with your medication balance. Keep your intake consistent. That way, your doctor can fine-tune your dosage around your habits. And most importantly, pay attention to your body. If you start bruising more easily or notice unusual bleeding, even something like prolonged gum bleeding when brushing your teeth, don't ignore it. This isn't about giving up the foods you enjoy. It's about giving your body the respect and attention it deserves, especially when you're already working hard to keep your health on track. Because blueberries on their own aren't the enemy. But when combined with certain medications, or taken without awareness, they can quietly undo the very progress you've worked so hard to make. Now that you know these hidden interactions, blueberries with iron, with dairy, and with blood thinners, let's pause for a moment. Because this goes beyond blueberries. It's about something bigger. Let's talk about what all of this really means for your body, your health, and how you move forward. It's strange, isn't it? How something as small, as innocent, as comforting as a blueberry, could be tied to something so serious. You spend your life trying to do what's right for your body, eating your fruits, taking your vitamins, staying active. And then you find out that it's not just about what you eat, but how and when you eat it. and what you're combining it with. It can feel overwhelming. You might be thinking, do I have to second guess every bite now? Or, why didn't anyone tell me this before? It's okay to feel that way. Because the truth is, these things aren't obvious. They're not written on yogurt labels or supplement bottles. They're not part of most conversations at the doctor's office. But they matter. Especially when you're older, and your body, your precious, hard-working body, isn't as quick to adjust as it once was. At this stage in life, small things make big waves. And that's not a reason to live in fear, it's a reason to live with intention. Because when you understand how food works with your body instead of against it, you're not just eating, you're healing. You're not just surviving, you're thriving. This isn't about blaming yourself for what you didn't know. It's about empowering yourself with what you do know now. And with just a few thoughtful choices. Like separating blueberries from your iron supplement, switching to a dairy-free yogurt, or keeping your berry intake steady if you're on blood thinners, you can stay ahead of the game. These aren't massive lifestyle changes. They're gentle adjustments. But they have the power to protect your energy, your strength, and your clarity. So, here's what I'd ask of you today, just pause for a moment. Think about your daily routine. What are you pairing together? Is there something you can separate, tweak, or adjust, even slightly, to work better for your body? Take a moment to check your supplements. Glance at your medication list. Ask your doctor a question you've never thought to ask. Because small changes now can prevent big problems later. And no, you don't have to stop enjoying the foods you love. You just need to get to know them better. Like old friends with new boundaries. Because with knowledge comes balance. And with balance comes peace of mind. You've worked too hard to get to this point in life. You deserve to enjoy it, with energy, with confidence, and with the wisdom that only comes from living. So, let's quickly recap what we covered today. There are 3 foods and supplements you should never combine with blueberries, especially if you're a senior. 1. Iron-rich meals or supplements, because blueberries can block iron absorption. 2. Dairy, like milk or yogurt, which interferes with antioxidant uptake. 3. Blood-thinning medications or supplements, because blueberries can increase the risk of bleeding when paired with these. These aren't rules to scare you, they're tools to help you live smarter. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever eaten any of these combinations before? Did any of this surprise you? Go ahead and scroll down, leave a comment and let us know. Your story might just help someone else in our community feel seen, heard, and informed. And if this video gave you something to think about, if it helped you understand your body just a little bit better, give it a thumbs up to let us know we're on the right path. And remember, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and join the Elderly Wisdom Guide family. This channel is here for you, to support your health, your choices, and your beautiful journey forward. Thank you for watching today. And more importantly, thank you for caring enough to keep learning, growing, and taking care of yourself. Stay healthy. Stay wise. And as always, take care of yourself and your loved ones. We'll see you in the next video.